Okay, so very warm welcome to the AHA Halo webinar. My name is Jörg Prinz. I'm in the field of medicine since more than 50 years in various positions. That shows that I started young. It also shows that I'm old. And I have a PhD in medicine, but I've given up conventional medicine, and since 25 years, I'm actually working as a naturopath down here in New Zealand. I work with different devices there and have focused on energy medicine and applications that run under that heading. So I'm not very good at the technical side there, but I'm very interested in the physiological effects of energy medicine devices. So I'll tell you a little bit about this in this webinar. So with everything that is medical, everything is experimental, even conventional medicine. It's an empiric science there. Nevertheless, I've got good experiences with the AHA Halo, and nevertheless, I have to put up a disclaimer. So what are we talking about today? Well, I'll give you an introduction how the machine works, how to set it up, how to put it together. And then we talk a lot about the software that is offered in the programs there and how you can use this to your advantage during the day. And yes, if there are any questions afterwards, I'm happy to answer those. So how does the AHA Halo work? This little device, and I have no idea how John White actually put this together, but it works. It produces a scalar field, and that expands about 1 meter outwards or 3 feet outwards around the whole device. And then on top of it, you can put programs, different frequencies for more specific conditions. So it's hard to describe a scalar field. It's like a bubble around the machine. And if the device is close enough to your body, it actually includes your body and forms like a halo around you. That's how John described it, hence the name. And and the center of this picture, that would be where the device is, and expands 1 meter outwards. So when you get the machine, then you get this nice little box there and all these bits and pieces. To use it, it has to be charged. Sometimes it comes a little bit with a pre-charge. You can use the cable and this little device here, that's a charger. If you use this on a 5-volt outlet, you get a fast charge. If you just use the cable and put it into your computer, it will be a slower charge. And we will talk about these cards as well, the harmony cards, towards the end. When the device is fully charged, you see 100% mark there. It's quite astonishing how long the battery actually lasts. So I've got very good experiences with that. In order to load programs onto the device, you need the software. And you can download the software at this address here. I still got the 189 version there, but I think it's meanwhile up to 230 or something. Then you have to unzip the file and install the software. And then it's important that before you turn the software on, before you start the program, connect your computer with the USB cable to your computer and to the device and turn it on. And another thing is you have to have administrative rights on your computer, otherwise the software does not install and doesn't work properly. It doesn't work at all if you can't install it. So to turn on the device, you push this button here and hold it. Then all the lights go on and the device is ready and you can start the software. We talk about the other buttons a little bit later. And then you will see a screen similar to that. That's the software. And in the software is on the home page. Here are the programs. You only see the top part of it. You see there's a slider that can go down. And there's over 100 different programs now that you can load onto your device. So you can use this big button here, install Quick Pack, and these 19 programs that are very popular, they will be loaded onto your device with one click. That's the easy way. However, you can choose individual programs. For instance, as an example now, shoulder and neck discomfort. You click on this and highlight it. Then you push the load button and it will appear up on this screen indicating that it is loaded onto your device. You can load a maximum of 30 programs on there and then you can play them. These buttons here in the software, they are useful to go to the website or to a video tutorial site. You can enter the frequently asked question page. Then on this side, you can get the latest software update or a firmware update. You can even make suggestions, and the people at the company are very eager to hear from you, what you would like to have. So send them your suggestion or email them. And this one is a link to the Halo forum where you can ask questions and help others if you know some answers to their questions. And here's a language button. The last time I looked, I think it was English and German, not quite sure how much they have updated this because I'm still on the old version. So now let's talk about the software. So I use any energy medicine device as complementary. And I focus in my work with the clients, with the patients, on holistic health, which means that I look at all these points there as well, not only the physical thing. I deal a lot with, I've got a big interest in what is their mental, their emotional state. Have they got any past traumas or what they perceived as traumas? Doesn't have to be something big. And the lifestyle, which is not on here, but goes into environmental, then is important to me too. And I advise my clients always to work on these issues if there are any. So if you've got a person like this one here, there are a few problems quite obvious straight away. This person is sitting on the sofa as a couch potato, and obviously carries too much weight. So I would advise those people to additionally do something about it. Then is eating fast food, well, it's calories, but it's not nutrition. So if somebody eats mainly that, he will have deficits. And he's actually watching television. Now, what's sent on a TV, it's called a program. And it's there to program you to believe things that might be true or might not be true. At least it stirs emotions and they can be detrimental to your health. Okay, so the first category of software programs that we have is titled Comfort, because they work on situations where you have a discomfort. That could be an itch, but it could be a pain as well. So all these ones here indicate when there is pain that there is inflammation, because you can't have pain without inflammation. So let me say something to inflammation. That is something that happens stereotypically to the body. If there's anything happening, whether it's a trauma, whether you have poisoned yourself, whether you have a viral infection, whatever it is, when the body reacts to that because the immune system diagnosed this as a threat, it reacts with the same reaction, which is called inflammation. And this inflammation has got 5 cardinal signs. Number 1, there's pain. If it's not too bad, it's probably just a discomfort, but you notice it, that's for sure. It overheats because more blood goes into the area. If it's below the skin, you can see it's getting red. It's swelling up. And of course, it can lose its function. So these are the cardinal signs of inflammation. And these programs up here, they actually changing the situation from the pro-inflammation to the anti-inflammation, and thereby reduce pain. So I have to explain this a little bit. I made you a little thing to show you what I mean with that. If there is something happening, the body reacts with inflammation that goes up to a peak point and goes down again. And sometimes you might notice this from yourself. All of a sudden you feel a pain somewhere, and before you can think, what on earth is it now that's painful, it's gone down again. So we have got these little pains and aches that indicate the body is adapting to something, and if it is disappearing right away, it could be an emotional thing, it could be a trigger that brings it, it could be a wrong position that you were sitting at, and by straightening yourself, the pain disappears. So that's called adaptation, and it only takes seconds, sometimes minutes. When you have got an acute disease, you have got the same thing. You have got inflammation going up, that's the pro-inflammatory phase, and then it goes over into the anti-inflammatory phase. And when you are in pain, usually somewhere on the up here, you go to the doctor and want to have something, you usually get anti-inflammatory drugs. So they stop this whole process, but it also means it's nice because the pain is gone, or at least reduced, but it never really get a chance to heal. Because when the anti-inflammatory phase starts, another reaction starts in the body, and it's got the healing. So when you use a device, for instance, like the halo, is actually reducing the time for that. And if you've got a chronic disease, then the body tries to fix something because it starts to hurt, and it stops again, it starts to hurt again, and so on. If you use a halo on this one, it actually takes this curve and does the whole thing so that the healing can take place. So these are the two parts of inflammation, and that's how these programs can help you to overcome discomforts and pain. Of course, everything has sometimes emotional triggers. Things that we have learned, things some people might say we brought with us from a past life, really doesn't matter where it's coming from, but it's inside us. And therefore, when you've got abdominal pain, think about, do I have these emotions? Or do I have joint pain? Do I have these emotions? So that's sort of a table you can study and look at and see whether it relates to your aches and pains that you have, and probably work a little bit on those ones. The next heading for the software programs is sleep. So we've got 3 different sleep programs, and we have got loud sleep. So that's when you talk in your sleep or sing or using a chainsaw, that's quite obvious. But good sleep 1, 2, and 3 have got different functions. The first one is for falling asleep, relaxes you so that your mind is clear. The second one is for sleeping through, gives you a steady sleep pattern, and that runs for almost 5 hours. And people who have got chronic sleeplessness, they should use good sleep number 3. Now, I have tried actually these programs, and I have to say they work for me, but they don't work for me if I run them through the night. What I do is I use this about an hour before I want to go to bed, or I want to use this one about 5 hours before I go to bed. I haven't tried Good Sleep 3, but these two. And then at nighttime for me, because I feel this, I don't sleep very well. If something is running at nighttime, I turn the device off before I go to bed. But everyone is different. It might work for you, but have an eye on it because it might disturb your sleep more than it brings you benefits. If it disturbs your sleep, run it before you go to bed. So, the next one is beauty. And we are not talking about this beauty, not at all. We're talking about inner beauty. So, young body, collagen, figure glowing, all has to do with anti-aging and rejuvenating cells. The thing is that even I don't know which frequencies are actually used in these programs, but I can give you an idea what might be involved. And when it comes to, for instance, young body and to rejuvenation, then we have to think about telomeres. You might have heard this term. It's at the end of the chromosomes are telomeres. And these telomeres, they get shorter and shorter with every cell division and get shorter till nothing is left. And then there is no cell division possible anymore. And this is almost then, if most of these cells are affected by that, then it's actually the end of life. So all these programs here, they work within that area partially. Okay, acne is a different story. It has to do with hormonal changes during puberty, but that can linger on. But collagen is an important one, and I want to say a little bit more to that on the next slide. Collagen is connective tissue. So everyone knows when we get older, connective tissue gets weaker, and therefore everything is actually following gravity, and therefore feeling older, looking older as an issue. But there is much more to connective tissue than just keeping bits and pieces in place. And this is the following, and I think this is the most fascinating part of energy medicine. Collagen comes in strong bands like tendons and things like that, but it goes through the whole tissue, through all tissues, through all cells. So this is collagen coming in there, these gray things, and they go through the cell wall. And inside the cell, they get even thinner, and they form a skeleton, a cytoskeleton, and they even connect down to the cell nucleus, to the DNA. Because everything is connected with each other up to the level of the skin, you sometimes can feel if something going wrong down here as a niggly pain somewhere on the skin. That's sort of the base for acupuncture and reflexology as well. And of course, the other way around, you can put electric devices, frequency devices onto the skin or close to the skin, and they will conduct energy all the way down to the nucleus, which means every energy medicine application will affect the DNA, not in its structure, but whether it's turned on or whether it's turned off. So that's an important part, and who's interested in that can read it up under James L. Oshman wrote a book called Energy Medicine, The Scientific Basis. I find this fascinating. Good, cleansing. Cleansing is an important part in energy medicine and in naturopathy medicine as well, because it cleans out things that don't belong into the system. And we have got 2, 4, 6, 7 programs here. I think they are comparable to the Spooky 2 detox programs. Who's familiar with it? It's called Terrain. However, here we have got a slightly different order of things. Here is the recommendation in which order to use these cleansing programs. So you can do this. It's about running for 9 hours if I added this up properly. So you can run this one day, you can run this the next day, you can have 3 days, 4 days, and then you actually can start and use other programs and be more specific with it, with the treatment that you want to achieve. So here we've got holistic body care. That's an important part because it actually changes the body or the inflamed tissue from an inflammation and pushes the reaction more into the healing and balancing position. And these programs have got different function. I would like to explain this to you. For instance, the first one is blood. You might have seen a picture like that. These are red blood cells. If they are not properly charged electrically, they stick together in this manner there, which is called a coin roll formation, or often in medicine they use the French expression rouleau formation. When you use this program, you're actually charging the cell membranes, and then they have got enough charge to repel each other. And then these little red blood cells, when they are single away from the others, they can actually squeeze themselves through the capillaries, and it will actually increase the oxygen transport to the fine areas of the arterial system. Bone is a program that is, if you have enough of the building blocks in your body, that helps to remineralize the bone. So that's calcium, and you need vitamin K for that, specifically vitamin K2. And it works far better if you have got a good level of vitamin D in your body. So in summertime, it's probably not an issue if you are outside a lot and you get sunshine. However, in wintertime, even autumn, and depending how spring develops, you need vitamin D, and you should have it at a healthy level. The cell program actually recharges the cell membrane. So there's a difference between inside and outside of about 70 millivolts up to 100 millivolts. That's a young, healthy cell. The less energy the cell has, the more disease it gets. There's aches and pains, there's inflammation, edema, and so on. And finally, there's the cell death. So by keeping energy or providing energy to the bodies with those frequencies, you keep those cells healthy. The endocrine system is actually regulated by two main glands, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, together with the hypothalamus. They do the biofeedback. They figure out this hormone is missing, so produce more. This one is too much, you can stop or do something against it. But again, you need the building blocks for it. You cannot activate the thyroid gland if there's no iodine in your food or not enough iodine in your food. And unfortunately, when we get older, the hormonal production all over goes down, except for two. Insulin is one and cortisol is the other one, the stress hormone. So this program here helps you to balance this a little bit, but you need good food and sometimes supplements to help that. The immune system, well, it's a no-brainer. That works hard. Try to keep everything out that doesn't belong into the body. It's a bit tricky these days, but I don't want to comment too much on it. But a healthy immune system does not depend on any injections or vaccinations. But if you have the right stuff in your body, the energy can help you to put it all together when you use the immune program. The next one is joint. Joints are vitally important in energy medicine because they have got synovial fluid inside it. And this is a very rich soup, basically, that feeds the cartilages. The cartilages are white because no blood supply or little blood supply goes into them. The main food and the integrity of the cartilage is actually provided by synovial fluid. And you can, with the right electric tool, treat just the big joints there to get pain-free. It actually helps quite a lot to work on these ones, even if it is not, if you are a little bit older, and even if you don't have any pains there, it's always good to run the occasional joint program. Metabolism is about the food that is then changed into ATP. ATP is the universal body energy, the biochemical energy, and the more ATP we have, the healthier and younger we are. If you've got problems with your digestion and not getting the right stuff, use this program and try to change your diet. Muscle and tendon refers to the growth hormone, basically, which not only grows muscles and bones, but it also helps to decrease adipose tissue. So that's one of the big things in our times, that we are not using our body physically as much as when our DNA developed a few thousands of years back. So we have to be active and we have to do something. It's an important part of health, because even the muscles produce hormones and neurotransmitters that help to stay healthy. The nerve program, yes, it's about nerves. It's not only the brain and the peripheral nerves, but it refers mainly to parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves there. So you want to have a good balance there. Sympathetic nerves are active during the day. They do the fight and flight, which we are dealing with on a daily basis. But at nighttime, it should switch over to parasympathetic, to rest and digest. And if you can't fall asleep at nighttime, because 1,000 of things going through your mind, this nerve program will help you with that as well, as much as it will help with peripheral nerve issues as well. The next one is radiation. Well, it's radiation from electromagnetic frequencies, from Wi-Fi, cell towers, and things like that. When you run this program, then you have got a protective bubble around you, and it is probably better than devices like this one here. I feel much better if I use the radiation program on the Halo than having those things sitting beside me or being in my pocket. And yes, vitamins and minerals. You're not getting vitamin and minerals from the machine, but you get the frequency for absorbing and doing the right thing with the vitamins and minerals. You still have to eat those ones. Yeah, it won't replace eating vitamins and minerals. So I put you all these pictures here on a separate page so you can see them in the PDF. So physical well-being. Here we have programs that help with the adaptation and help. Some of them are a bit anti-infectious. So I've got good experiences with common runny nose, current runny nose, although that runs for 23 hours. So I've run this in 2 parts there, always during the day. Here's an old program. I haven't tried that one. There's sinus and nasal is a good one too that I've worked with. So these are programs that work for me and for most people. So have a go on it. This is for helping your vision, although there are so many factors that can actually disturb vision. And one of them is actually the screens that we look at, because they have got blue light. So if you've got problems with vision, not only use the Halo, but get a filter on top of your screens or avoid looking at them for longer times during the day. A very important thing here is tooth and gum wellness. This is so underestimated in the general population that I want to mention it. Tooth and gum wellness has to do with bacteria that are sitting around the teeth and in the gum, and they cause a silent inflammation, or in this case, not an inflammation, but an infection. So it's cooking and boiling there all the time, causing toxins coming from these bacteria into our digestive system, and there they cause another inflammation in the guts there. Sometimes it goes actually onto the heart valves. There are some specific ones that can do this. So anyone who's got problems with that teeth, and if it is only mildly so, I would really recommend to run tooth and gum wellness on a regularly basis. If you have got a root canal, I would consider getting this out, but that's me, not everyone's thing. Yes, and here's a memory program. In case you forget, use this one. Emotional well-being. Here we have got negative and positive emotions. You can get clarity, feel good, feel motivated, and you can repel negative energy. So if you're working in an environment that's a bit hostile or is a bit unfriendly, that's a good one to use. Or if you expect the IRD to audit you, put this one on. Okay, spiritual well-being. So there's a few things to say about this one. A lot of people have asked, what on earth are these waves up here? So these waves have to do with the brain waves. And we have got these waves running always, even when we sleep. These waves are running. But these frequencies have got different speeds. So the lowest one is from 0 to 4 hertz, and the highest one is up to 100 hertz. And these are the situations where naturally we have more of these compared to the others. So for restorative healing, it's good to have delta waves there. So if you've got a problem that you want to overcome and you want to get, you're in the healing phase, run delta waves. It also helps you with the sleep because, yes, it connects to the parasympathetic nervous system. Then theta waves is good for daydreaming, it's good for meditation. Some people even like them for sleep induction. Alpha, this is sort of when you've got 8 to 12 hertz waves mainly, then you're just in between falling asleep. And of course, if you want to do something that needs your full attention, your full concentration there, beta and gamma are good ones for logical thinking and learning. That's sort of roughly. Then, of course, we have got quite a lot of programs here which are self-explanatory. We have got the Schumann resonance wave. That's a very important one because if you're not getting Schumann resonance over a few days, and they have done tests for that. They put people in a concrete bunker with steel reinforcements in there so that nothing can come in from the outside like a Faraday cage. It takes about, I can't remember, 2 or 3 days, and the people starting to get funny. They're even getting psychotic. And the only way out of that was actually to have a frequency generator inside the building and turn it on and run the Schumann resonance wave, and then within hours they came back to normal. So that's very important, and for some people who've got psychiatric disorders, it's worthwhile treating them with that. Then, of course, we've got a lot of spiritual stuff here, like acceptance, aura cleaning, cosmic frequencies. I've put down a few frequencies, not that I say that these are in the program there, but if I would program a halo, I would use these ones because they're related to chakra or to love frequency or to forgiveness. So it will be in that direction there. Of course, we've got here a program called the water charger. Yes, you can charge your water with it. So put the halo beside a glass of water, let this program run, and then the more often it runs through, the better the water is charged and harmonizes the water, brings structure into the water, which is better for the body to absorb and to quench your thirst. And then there are a few lucks in there, a career luck and a good luck and a wealth luck. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. It was the first program, the wealth luck, that I was running when I got the device. I thought, no, I have to try this out. So I got the device in February. I'm playing the lottery, but it hasn't worked for me yet. So if somebody has got good results, let me know and tell me what else you did. It hasn't worked for me yet. So, and here we have got the energy pathways. What is that? Well, these are the meridians, of course. 12 of them. And then the question comes, what are meridians? Well, meridians have the energy for 2 hours and then pass it on to the next meridian. And because we have got 12 meridians, we have got a 24-hour circle before the first one gets the energy back. So there are meridian clocks that you can look up which meridian is actually active and when. So women's care, men's care is quite, explains itself. What happens if a woman by accident runs a prostate program? Nothing. If you don't have a prostate, it can't respond, and vice versa. So don't worry about it. You can't do anything wrong. The body takes what it needs. And if you offer it a frequency that the body can't do anything with about it, it goes through and that's it. So these are the programs. Now let's talk a little bit how to best use everything. Okay, so I told you this is the on-off button. If you push and hold it, if you just click it, you start the program or restart the program when it was paused. These arrows up here and down here, they actually let you run through the loaded programs, the ones that you have loaded on there. It's not all 100 on there. It's only the ones that you've loaded. And then you can pick it. Once you've found one, you push this button shortly and it runs. And with the upper one, if you hold this, push it and hold it, this light goes off and saves you a little bit of battery because this goes on and off. That's called the breathing light. And what else? Oh yeah, if you have chosen a program and you started it and it's running, you can push and hold this button here. Then the whole screen gets dark, but the whole thing is still running. It's locked. Then you can put it in your pocket and you don't have to be worried that by accident you're changing the program or stopping something. So how do we use the harmony cards? Well, you've got 3 or 4 harmony cards with your device, and if you want to get the frequencies from the device onto the card, you just run the program or start the program, put it on the card there, and let it run through once. Then it is loaded onto the card. If you want to use this card more than a week, it is advisable after a week to do the same thing again, to recharge it because it loses on the frequency. If after 2 days you decide, oh no, I want to run another program, yeah, well, you just turn on the other program and recharge the card with that one. It will override what was on there. Be careful that you don't let the card lying in direct sunlight, and even electromagnetic frequencies like Wi-Fi, radio towers, actually, they can do damage to the storage of the programs and, of course, damage to the card itself. I probably should say, of course, it is stronger a field when you use the device than using the card. Nevertheless, a lot of people feel the benefits just from the card there. Imagine how much stronger it is from the device. Okay, if you've got acute symptoms, it's a good idea actually to run the program to tackle the discomfort during the day until you feel, oh yeah, it's not so painful anymore. And that can run a few times because each program is going through and repeats. If you've got chronic conditions, don't expect too much of a miracle. It takes its time. For every year that you had a condition, you have to think about of 1 month of treatment. And that applies to the halo, of course, as well. And I would not only use the designated program, the discomfort program for it, but I also would run the detox cycles in between. But it says here, use detox programs often. Up to you how often, but I wouldn't just run it once and then expect something happening, because once you start treating the condition, more rubbish actually floats around the bloodstream and needs to be removed. So it's a good idea to run a detox program every 3rd day, every 4th day, at least. So, should you use it at nighttime? Try it out. Please try it out. I turn my one off. I find that I can't sleep very well. Whenever you use energy healing methods there, make an effort to get the best diet, the best hydration, regular exercises, avoid stress. Well, easier said than done, isn't it? But yeah, try to avoid the telly because a lot of stress comes from there. And yeah, if you are in a positive mood, if you say to yourself, okay, I want to overcome this condition and I know I can do this, then it's different from, I hate to have this condition. Don't use these words. Don't fight your condition. Make an effort to say, yes, you're overcoming it. Although it means probably the same, but for the subconscious mind it has got a total different meaning. So avoid fighting. Tell your body, we will overcome it. So, what's that? Yes, when you use comfort programs, please, if it works well with the first thing and you don't feel the pain, don't go out and say, oh, the arm doesn't hurt anymore. Now I dig the garden. No, please. Give your body time to rest and to repair what's going on. Do slow movements. You want to be sure that it won't hurt. If you do some fast and forceful movements there, it can be too late. When you use beauty programs, you can use your usual simple skin care, antioxidants, whatever. When you do cleansing, it doesn't make sense to put poisons into yourself while you try to detox. So a diet is a good idea. A fasting is a good idea while you're doing this, but not realisable, not for everyone, put it this way. Yes, and watch your emotional well-being, 10, 20 minutes per day, mindfulness, like meditation or contemplating or bringing out your affirmations, which should be positive affirmations, is a good idea. So thank you very much for listening.